What's up, y'all? Y'all know it's your girl Ash, bringing y'all another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all, today is Tuesday, May the 25th. Oh, y'all, can y'all believe we are almost in June? Like, next week is June. We are already halfway into 2021. So, y'all already know before I start any episode, y'all already know. Drop in the comments. I'm doing my mental health check-in. I need to know how everybody's feeling. I know it's Tuesday, but tomorrow is hump day, and then once we get past Wednesday, then it's 2 days to the weekend. So y'all drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all feeling. Your girl is feeling good today. I'm looking good, feeling good. Things are starting to work out for me, and I'm so happy my vision is actually coming to pass. So y'all already know before I jump into tonight's episode, I always have some beautiful things to play for you guys. But again, it is still Mental Health Awareness Month. Just because the month is ending next week does not mean mental health conversations stop. So y'all already know. Let me go ahead and drop this real quick for y'all.
I don't know who this video is for, man, but it's like 4 a.m. in the morning, May 10th, and my heart is heavy because I know there's somebody out there that is ready to end their life, that's already made up in their mind that they're not going to fight no more. They're tired of fighting. They don't have no more strength to find because they've already gave all their strength. They don't have the strength to turn the page. They don't have the strength to see tomorrow. They made up in their mind that their life is over. And maybe they logged on to Facebook. Maybe you logged on to Facebook and looking for a sign. Maybe you logged on to say your goodbyes and you came across this video. So I just want to tell you, man, that don't let those thoughts that are trying to kill you, kill you. Those thoughts that telling you life is over, those thoughts that telling you you're not enough, those thoughts that tell you things won't get better, those thoughts that tell you that you are your mistakes, those thoughts that tell you that you are your past, those thoughts that tell you that you're worthless. Don't let those thoughts kill you. They're lying to you. Because you're more than that. You're more than a conqueror. You're more than what you're going through. You do have purpose. You are awesome. You are talented. You are beautiful. You are special, despite what you've been going through. So you make up in your mind right now. Okay, you don't have to have a whole plan out for the rest of your life. You make up in your mind right now that you're going to fight with faith tonight. You make up in your mind right now that you're going to survive tonight. Whatever it takes. I pray that you have a peace in your mind that floods your mind like never before, to let you know, despite everything that you're going through, the storms that you're going through, the flood that's flooding your life with pain right now, I pray that peace tells you that everything is going to be okay. I pray that you find the strength inside of your weakest moment right now that lets you know that everything is going to be okay. So you put down that gun, you put down that drug, those pills, you put it down, man. Because there's more to your life than what you're currently going through. And you'll never understand it if you quit right now. But I promise you, if you fight with faith, you fight with prayer, eventually you'll realize everything that you went through had a purpose. Everything that you went through had a purpose. Life will get better. But if you end your life, you prevent it from getting better. All right?
Ooh, y'all know, like I say, I think that is my favorite video. I have to play it. Like, that's become my signature thing to play at the beginning of every episode. Like I say, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Again, the conversation does not end because the month ends on the 31st. We have to keep mental illness conversations going. We have to keep it on the forefront, especially in the Black community. We absolutely have to keep the conversation rolling. So y'all already know. Y'all know how your girl roll. Y'all been rolling with me for almost a year, and I absolutely appreciate all the love that y'all show me. So again, In regards to mental health, if you know anybody, if you or somebody you know is experiencing any suicidal thoughts or thinking um, of suicide, please call the number that's on your screen. You see it 1-800 273 8255. Again, you or somebody you know that's in a crisis, please call the number 1-800 273 8255, or please call 911. Please call 911. Also, if you're in a mental health crisis, call the number again that's on the screen 1-855 274 7471. We definitely want to get you all the help that we need. We definitely want to connect you to the right resources. We absolutely do not want any person left behind. We all have those ups and down days. And like I say, it only takes a moment to send a text, a phone call, send a message. Let someone know you're thinking about them. You never know that a message, a phone call, something could change a person's whole day. You just never know. You absolutely don't know. So y'all keep dropping in the comments. Let me know how y'all feeling. Like I say, I'm doing my mental health check-in. I want to know how everybody's feeling today. If you're not having a good day, y'all know my DMs stay open. They stay open. Hit me up. Hit your girl up. I don't judge. As y'all see, I'm the most transparent person that you may ever meet. I don't care what you say about me because, like I say, I don't live in my past. I live in my present, and I'm looking forward to my future. So y'all keep dropping in the comments. Also, I have another number. Um, if you don't want to talk or you feel like you cannot talk, don't forget to text. There is a number. You're going to text talk to 741-741. And that will allow you to text with a trained crisis counselor from the crisis text line. It is 100% free and it is absolutely available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Anybody, get them the help. Get them the help they need. Like I say, mental health is so imperative, it's so important. The pandemic has really shot everything through the roof. So everybody's been on 1,000, anxiety, all types of issues. But keep dropping in the comments. Big brother Will, hey brother. Good to see you. Glad you made it. Look, we've been bouncing back and forth because I was like, I got the moment the notification came up, I hurried up and clicked on it. Because I cannot ever miss the Black Male Podcast. Don't forget, y'all. Tune in with Big Brother Will. He has two podcasts. He has the ADHD Hour that is on Sundays. And then he has the Black Male Podcast that is on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. So don't forget to tap in with Big Brother Will. Big Brother, don't forget, link up with me tomorrow. I definitely want you and other brother on the show on a couple of episodes with me for next month. So tap in with your girl. Tap in with your girl. Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Love and support is free, and that's what a lot of people fail to realize. Love and support is free. It doesn't take away for you to show someone some support. It does not take away from you to share a person's post. That doesn't take anything away from you. Show your love. Show your support. We all need it. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely, big brother. Absolutely. So y'all keep dropping in the comments. Let me know how y'all are feeling. What's going on? Mentally, how y'all doing? Um, I do have a guest with me tonight. But before I bring her on, I want to say, I will not mention this person's name, but she has been a longtime friend of our family, who went to her twin daughters graduated today. She collapsed and she passed away at her twin daughter's graduation today. So to my other big sis, I love you. You're absolutely gonna be missed. Love and prayers to the family, to your children, to your husband. Um, So I have another comment just popped up. Hey Robert, he says, "Hey, saw you on Breaking the Stigma. I'm here to support and see what it's all about. Depending on certain topics, I definitely have strong opinions and am more than happy to share." Absolutely. Let me post my email. Send me an email and let's absolutely connect. Um, let's. I'm always looking for guests. Um, on Black Girl Interrupted, we talk about everything. We talk about everything, Mr. Roberts. So let me know whatever you're interested in. We could absolutely collab. We could connect, bring you on the show, and have a ball. So thank you, Big Brother Will. Yeah. So let me see. I'm 42, and her and my sister have been friends since middle school. So she posted this morning on the way to her daughter's graduation, and as they were walking across the stage, um, she collapsed. They're not sure, if she hit her head, but she did pass away. So shout out to you, big sis. Like I say, I'm absolutely gonna miss you. Hate I didn't get to see you all the times that I came to Atlanta, but your family is definitely in my prayers. So y'all keep dropping the comments in. Thank you, Mr. Robert. Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and bring my guest on so we could go ahead and jump into tonight's topic. And as I bring her on, y'all keep dropping in the comments. I'm still doing my mental health check-in. I need to know how everybody's feeling today. Um, like I say, we all need that one person that we can vent to, that one person that is just the ear. If we're calling, sometimes we don't want the advice. Sometimes we just want ear to vent. So Michael says, put Choo Choo on your pocket. Absolutely not, sir. You will not. But thank you for the love, though, Choo Choo. I appreciate it. You're not coming on the show because you crazy. You ain't gonna get on here and try to embarrass me on here. No, but on the cool. Hit me up and we could talk. We absolutely could talk. I promise you. You may want to connect with me. I got some great episodes coming up for the month of June. So y'all be on the lookout for those great, phenomenal episodes that I have coming for June. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring my girl Leslie on.
Hey, how's everybody?
I can't
Mm,
hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
You can hear me? I don't know why I can't hear
Mhm.
you.
I can hear you. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with my sound. Wait a minute.
I hear you
It's not right.
perfectly. I've been listening and
I can't hear
everything.
nothing. This is crazy. I hope y'all can
I'll
still
go
hear
out
me.
and come
Y'all,
back
I
in.
apologize, but
No,
I
it's
can't hear
okay.
you. Right. Like I say, I have some great episodes coming up for the month of June. Some great episodes that I'm really is I absolutely want to celebrate brothers is dedicated to my black men. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I can't hear. But I got you. Hold up. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now? Now you frozen. Oh, wait, you moving. Hold on. Can you hear me? I can't hear you now. Oh, wait. I heard a snap crackling.
Wait.
Uh-oh, I hear you now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, but now I can't hear you. Uh-oh. StreamYard acting up. It's been a day, y'all. The devil's trying to do some things. Yeah, I don't even know. I can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Now I hear you.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Yes. Okay, now we're
I was
doing
like,
things.
what's I had it plugged into the wrong. I had the mic plugged into the
Oh,
wrong. So I
Okay.
apologize. Okay.
Girl, no
All
problem. Let me
right.
tell you something. The devil been trying me for the past half an hour, not through you, through other people trying to cut up. So we all right. Because we both here and
All
I
right.
hear
So
you.
now we're back in business. All right. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right. So, like I said, I'm still doing my mental health check-in. Let me fix this back. And then we're gonna be ready to rock and roll. There we go. Much
Mm-hmm.
better. I was like, why can't I hear? I was like, why does it was just going crazy over here. Like I could hear myself.
Oh,
I don't know. I hey, you win some, you lose some. Stuff works, stuff doesn't. But hey, it is what it
we
is.
got it
But
together
now we're
now.
in
That's
business.
all that matters.
So now we're in business. So y'all keep dropping in the comments. Let me know how y'all are doing. Like I said, y'all know I do my mental health check-in every episode, the beginning of every episode, because I need to know mentally how everybody's doing. You know, the mask mandates are now being lifted in federal buildings and in the schools. So drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Is anybody sending their children back to school face to face in August?
Well, I know I'm sending mine back. Mine actually asked to go back, but they both have been vaccinated because mama wasn't playing them games. See, they not disinfecting in between everybody moving and touching and all that stuff. And
Right.
I keep getting all the emails from another outbreak in the community near the school and the community. And so I was like, look, either they're gonna be out forever or they're gonna have to get vaccinated and then go back. Vaccinating is the only way that I personally was comfortable with them going back. And I ain't all that happy about a vaccine, but since everybody want to be all willy-nilly in these streets, we can't afford to be hiding in the house.
Well, I'm
That's
gonna
just how
say that
I look at
I'm
it.
gonna say that talk for another conversation because I'm not
Okay.
getting the vaccine, and I'm gonna leave that at that.
Girl, look, I ain't want to now. Do you see it? I'm trying to look alive,
I'm not
but
doing it. Only way I do it is if I'm forced to do it. But right now it's voluntary, and I'm not doing it. I'm not volunteering. So, and I'm gonna say that conversation for a next show
mhm,
because I definitely want to talk about that. I absolutely do.
yeah,
So,
it's important.
oh yeah, absolutely. So Mr. Roberts says, mentally I'm good, always good. I have my trials and tribulations and haters, but I love the haters because they remind me to tell myself I love me though. Over time it's become a powerful way to self build over time.
You can't
I'm
have
right
haters
there
if
with
you ain't got nothing to hate on.
right. I'm right there with you, Mr. Robert, because I had my days. I mean, um, these last couple of weeks have really been trying for me. So when I come on the show, when I do my episodes, y'all, this gives it. This is my outlet. This is my way for me um, to vent. This is my way for me to release, and even if it just takes my mind off of it for just a moment, this is therapeutic for me. So I did this, like I said, I created Black Girl Interrupted, um, in regards because I wanted to create a safe platform for people to come on to be transparent, share their stories, to disrupt those interruptions that we go through in life. So this is why I created Black Girl Interrupted. These are all my personal stories. This is not stuff that I'm pulling. I come on here and I'm very transparent. Um, because people love to hold your past against you, but I don't live there anymore. I'm not perfect. Yes, from pictures and smiles. When deep down I was really a broken person. I was a broke, bitter bitch. That's what I was. So Black Girl Interrupted came from my pain. It was a way for me to work through my pain, a way for me to deal with my demons that I had fought for 30 plus years. So I'm now in a good place. I absolutely love where Black Girl Interrupted is going. I love the people that I have met along the way. I even still love the people that I've lost along the way. So, you know, some people are just not meant to go on your journey with you. God brings people into your um life for a season of, for a reason or a season. So some people are not in my life, but I love y'all and I wish you well on your journey, and that's no shade. Some people feel like I throw shade. No, I don't. Um,
That's
so
just
Miss
keeping it real.
right, right. And I mean, and that's the way life is. You know, when you elevate, you lose people along the way. You know, and in the midst of you losing people, you pick up other people along. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's almost like a bus or
They
like a
say a reason,
subway.
a season, or a lifetime,
Right, right.
and
It's
there's
almost
nothing wrong with that.
right. It's like you know, because you're in Jersey and you travel to New York. It's like the subway. You know, when you
Hmm.
get on the subway, it goes so far and then it stops and it lets off maybe 50 people, maybe 100 people, and
Hmm.
those 100 people that got off, 25 more are getting on. So that's how I've learned to look at my journey. Is some people I was just not meant to carry along the way. They were only
Hmm.
supposed to hold me a part of the way, and then once they reached their destination, or once I reached a particular destination in my life, they were meant to get off, and I was to keep going, and there were going to be other people waiting on me at another destination. So, so Mr. Robert says that's a great thing to have a safe space to express yourself and deal with stress and potential depression. It is important for everyone to find their way to deal. Most people have really hard times finding it at all. Yeah, it was
That
rough.
is true.
It was absolutely rough, especially in the beginning.
It's
You know,
hard. It's hard to face your past and to acknowledge yourself and love yourself and accept yourself for your good, bad, and different, and to look at all of your past as what was necessary for your personal evolution. And when you can look at it that way, it's a lot easier to handle, especially when you can take your pain and fuel it into your passion and your purpose to help other people avoid their suffering. That's the beauty of you. And that's the beauty of what you've created, sis. And that's what first drew me to you. It's that willingness to share of yourself because you know that that pain almost took you out too many times. And you're not beat for nobody else to go through that kind of pain no more. And if it takes you being transparent, if it takes you giving of yourself in that raw, unfiltered way to make sure that don't nobody else hide in these dark crevices of sorrow no more, this is why we get along the way we do. Because I feel the same exact way. God didn't let you go through everything you went through for you to keep it all to yourself, tucked all away, and to let it just eat away at you and to do nothing with it. He ain't put you through all of that for that to be the end of you. If he allowed you to survive it, it was for you to do just what you're doing, and you're blessing people with your truth, your love, and your light. And that's what makes you extraordinary. You know, don't, that's what makes you extraordinary. You're a blessing and a warrior. And a lot of people can go through things, but to be able to go through things and then to be able to turn around and acknowledge their own good and bad and how they contributed, and then to be able to dissect it and explain it so that other people understand and can notice triggers, notice signs, and give the steps to avoid, that's above and beyond. Because, honey, most of the people that survived the things that you and I have survived and the things that you've discussed already, and that we especially getting ready to discuss today, if they did make it through, they damn sure ain't talking about it. They hiding in shame somewhere. And that's
but you
sad.
know, but but the reason that it's not talked about. Hey sissy, hey Yoshi, I love you. Now that one there, that lady right there.
Yeah,
When I tell you that lady is a absolute survivor.
yeah.
This lady, that lady there, has a whole testimony. Do you hear me?
Okay, Miss Yoshi, I'm gonna have to meet you someday,
When
huh?
I tell this lady there, when I met her, she was in the darkest time of her life. She was at the lowest. And
Mm,
to hear her talk from her lowest to where she is now, and you look at it, you never would know. I promise you, that
look,
lady
that's
does
the
not look
glory of
like
God right there.
she does not. Robert says absolutely.
Hmm.
Yoshi says your past is your past for a reason. You continue to become who you are, and I am loving it. Big brother
Exactly.
Will says prayers. Yoshi says amen.
Mm-hmm.
She said I love you more, Sissy Pooh. I do, and like I say, I do this. Let me say this, and then we're gonna jump into tonight's show. I do this. I love you too.
You good, sis. You good, sis. We got you. We got you. You are extraordinary and perfectly imperfect.
So
You
let
hear
me
me?
tell you, this is why I continue to do what I do. This is why I push and I do Black Girl Interrupt. And my whole intent was not to come on here and cry today. But I
Look,
do this because I don't want anybody, man or woman, to feel like they cannot share their pain. And let me tell
mm-hmm,
you why people don't talk. Because people gossip. Because
mm-hmm,
that same pain that you share with somebody, they turn around and they use it as a weapon against you.
mm-hmm. But you
So
got
this
to
is
remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And when you own your truth, can't nobody do nothing with it.
right.
That's the thing. When you own your truth and you love yourself, flaws and all, every decision and what? And what? Because most of them people that got something to say, where were you? Did you give me any other options? Were you even involved? Did you know me then? And if you didn't, why are we talking about it? And what? When you get the spirit of and what? Oh yes, now you're really good.
And I look back at who I was 2 years ago. Yeah, that was just a short time ago, but I've grown so much in almost 2 years. And I applaud myself. I pat myself on the back at how far I've come. The strides that I've made in regards to mending relationships with people that I've hurt along the way, especially my children.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I do Black Girl Interrupted. I do Black Girl Interrupted for every person that tunes in with me week in and week out. I do this for y'all. You have people that do this for clout. I don't do it for clout. I do it because I genuinely want to heal the next person. I want that next person to understand you're not alone, sis. I
Mm-hmm.
want the next man to know you're not alone.
No.
Those same suitcases that you have hid in the back of your closet, I've hid those same ones too. That's why I do Black Girl Interrupted. This is why I applaud every man and every woman, regardless of how big or how small your accomplishments are. I still congratulate you. And I want people to understand, start celebrating those small ones and stop waiting on the big ones.
I know that's right. Look, every day we are blessed to open up our eyes and take another breath. It's another day to be better and greater than we were the day before. And every little bit that you accomplish, even if it's to hold your head high in the midst of sorrow, at the end of that day, you better give yourself some credit for it because it takes effort and courage to face the world in the midst of your sorrow and pain. Every little bit of everything you do, give yourself credit and grace for because everything is a choice from the moment you woke up, whether you decided to get yourself up out of the bed or just lay there in sorrow. It was a choice. And when you start to really own the significance of your choices, then you have magic and then you have power to face the world. But acknowledge your greatness, acknowledge your strength, acknowledge your resilience, because just the choice to get out of bed is a choice that deserves to be applauded, especially when you've been through sorrow.
And when I tell you, I'm going to share something with y'all. And then we're going into tonight's topic. It's been a trying month for me. Absolutely a trying month for me. I'm out on disability. I had a whole breakdown after my daddy passed away. I didn't want to get out of the bed. I've taken on the financial burden of trying to get my father's affairs in order while fighting with disability to get my money. So yeah, I got a pop-up shop coming up that I don't know how I'm gonna get the stuff that I need for my pop-up shop. I made sure all my bills were paid. So that's what I've been going through this last month. Financial struggles. Trying to still grieve and get up and make it through the day. That's what I go through. And I get up every day and work on Black Girl Interrupted to come to y'all.
Mhm.
And I
It's your
come not be
positive
the
and
best.
productive place.
Absolutely. To come and be the
Mhm.
best to y'all. But y'all keep me going every day.
You
Every
keep
day.
us going. Facts. You keep us going. Your dedication keeps us going. It keeps us lifted. It does, and you should recognize that.
So Yoshi says, you just had the mood to do what you are. God has you to do for him. Trey says, we had this conversation. I love your bravery. This platform you're providing to have these conversations are definitely needed. I will always support your cause. Support your cause. I know it's genuine and sincere. That's where I go. Mr. Roberts says, to be better than you were yesterday, all you have to do is
Mhm.
try. Love what you're saying. So I
That's
needed
right.
this out today. I needed to vent. I absolutely needed to. I felt like I was gonna explode.
Just
And
let it out. Girl, just let it out. It's okay.
so y'all
Because sometimes
already
you
know
got
I'm the
to let it
biggest.
out. You ain't gotta look for it tough all the time, sis. You with the real ones. We here.
I'm the biggest crybaby. Y'all know.
And I don't know. We might be tied. We'll see who ends up falling out first from the crying today. I don't know. Might be you, might be me. I don't know.
It's a cleansing moment. We all need it.
Mhm.
We
Just
all
everybody
need
get your Kleenex. We be good.
it. Right. Get you some water, some wine, whatever it is you need.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to keep it PG over here because you know what I do with my messed up joints and all in the name of the medical. But I'm trying to keep it cute for you.
So y'all already know. There we go. Um,
Yeah. She's got it.
Miss Leslie is the creator of For the Love Culture podcast. And just, you know what? I'm so sick of this. I can't never get my hands. There we go.
You
There
had
we
it
go. I
right.
got it right.
Yeah.
I got it right this time.
Mm-hmm.
Introduce yourself. Even though they
Oh,
may not have
okay.
saw you last week, but
Yeah.
tell them
My
who
name
you
is
are.
Leslie Ann Seal. I'm the creator of For the Love Culture podcast. Getting ready to, put together my debut show, but the lovely Miss Ashley has allowed me to pop on her platform and assist her with some of these tough talks, just to kind of get my feet wet. And, I love supporting all things Ashley and Black Girl Interrupted because it's just phenomenal. And so I love the opportunity to come and let's discuss important topics that everybody seems to be too afraid to discuss publicly. But as you also, appropriately mentioned, they love to whisper about other people, though, not themselves. But this is the forum that we are grown, mature people who have lived enough, and learned enough and acknowledged enough about ourselves in the world that we want to help to clear some things out and make a space for everybody to let's just stop pretending. Please. We all can be a lot more productive. We all will be a lot more sane. We will have less pressure on our backs if we all could just be open and honest. And when we're having a sad day, just say, hey, y'all, I'm a little down today. Ain't nobody gonna die from you saying you having a little hard time today. When we start to get more comfortable having these kinds of conversations, we will have more of a healing society. And then we can really grow and evolve as a people. So I'm just blessed that you're willing to share this opportunity with me. You know, let's do something for the culture in the name of Queen Vibes and
Let's
Melanin
do
Magic.
Black Girls Rock, Black Female Entrepreneurs. Don't forget, y'all, Black Girl Interrupted is hosting. I am hosting my first annual Women's Empowerment Conference, June the 12th. Yeah.
She partying. She partying. I'm
Oh
excited.
my God, y'all just don't know. So the month of June is busy for me. Oh my God, I'm so freaking excited. It is a virtual event. If you haven't received the invite, I will post it again and I will send out all the invites. Y'all check me out June the 12th. It starts at 12 p.m. Central Time. I have some phenomenal women on the panel, and we are uplifting, empowering, and encouraging women of
Yeah. She's a boss.
and get some of
She's a
these queen
boss.
vibes here. And don't forget,
Mm-hmm.
fellas, I got something coming for y'all by the end of the year. So y'all brace yourself. I'm not just doing it for the women, but I got my brothers. Don't worry, I got y'all too. So just hold tight, work with your girl. Let me just get through the month of June. Let me breathe a little bit, and then I'm gonna start planning what I got for my fellas because I definitely want my men to know I love you too. I celebrate y'all every day. Every day I celebrate y'all. But right now I got to push my queens right now though. Fellas, I ain't forgot about y'all, I promise you. I have not.
Oh,
Go ahead.
can I mention something real quick? That's for the men and the women.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
almost forgot. I filmed our most recent episode of Millennial Talk Tuesday today. Now that's my real estate show. That's filmed on. If you go to Facebook and you look up House Then the Car, it's a program that we encourage you to get your house, then your car, because we do assets, then liabilities. So if anybody's looking to level up their finances, we had a phenomenal financial advisor on who was dropping some facts about leveling up the finances and, preparing to do big things as CEOs and boss entrepreneurs. So that was just my
Is that
little,
right? Did I put it right?
yes, house, then the car. Yep. And
Okay.
there's a website as well, housethenthecar.com, but the show is on the Facebook page. So you can
Cool.
check that
So I need to post that link for everybody to jump on so they could find ways so they could get out of
out.
rent and get in the home ownership.
Yeah, we talked
So
about getting your debt right, getting them investments right, and all of the things to get them coins together.
well, I need that.
Look,
I gotta
look.
get some income
I got
flowing.
into real estate because I want my coins. I
I
want
got
a
to get
house.
this. I got to get this income flowing because they playing with my
Look,
money.
you and me too.
They playing with
Because
my
the
with my
unemployment
bank
gang and
money.
this whole waiting on disability, we in the same boat, waiting on a disability. And last SSD said they got 4 months for me that I gotta wait. So, in the meantime, we could be flipping some of this stimulus cash, paying down them debts, making some moves.
We'll talk about that on another show
You got that.
because I need to get some better money management skills. But that we'll say that for a whole nother episode. So we
Oh
jumping
yeah.
in. What you say?
No, I was gonna say, girl, I got you in the DMs for that.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That part.
All right, so we jumping into tonight's topic. I appreciate the vent session. I appreciate everyone doing their mental health check-in with me. I absolutely appreciate y'all just allowing me to just be me. I love that. I appreciate all of that. So we jumping into tonight's topic. Abortion. I'm not ready to be a mother. Woo.
It's a hard one. It's an
Abortion,
important one.
especially in the Black community. So when I decided to end the month with this topic, it actually came at the most inopportune time because this ban was passed in Texas by Governor Greg Abbott. No longer 6 week abortions. If there's they banned fetal heartbeat abortions. You know the ban. Typically,
And how you supposed to know you pregnant? Most time you don't even know you pregnant till about good 5-6 weeks into the game. So what we talking about?
some people don't find out until they 3-4 months. So I had to bring this. We had to discuss it. I had a whole nother topic, but I say, you know what? I want this because I know there are a lot of women, Black women, who have either been forced or they've done it by choice, especially Black women. You know,
Yeah.
you look at the. I've got to collectively get my thoughts together, y'all, because this is.
This is something that honestly, in my humble opinion,
Thank you.
it should have always been the pregnant person's choice. Because at the end of the day, it's that person's body. So it's that person's decision as to whether they want to watch it expand and bring life into this world, or if due to whatever the circumstances, they're just not capable of handling that. And if their emotional sanity is better equipped to terminate the pregnancy so that they can be a whole individual, they should have that right to make that decision. But should nobody be telling nobody what to do with their body? Because there's too many things that we can do to avoid pregnancy in the first place. We could start there. But once the damage is done, you gonna force a mother to have a child she don't want? What we gonna do with the babies that's in the garbage? Or they just was a teenager who had a baby and just randomly handed it to some stranger like 2 days
In
ago
the restaurant, I
in a
saw that.
restaurant. Yeah, had the baby and just whoop.
They say she
Imagine
was
where her
a
headspace
14-year-old
is.
girl.
Yeah, where's her headspace right now?
Right.
This never should have been a topic where other people got involved with what folks was doing with their bodies,
Right.
in my humble opinion, because it's a very complex issue that definitely has to do with the age, the mental capacity of the person, and with respect to everything else, the circumstances as to how they got pregnant. There's a lot that it has to be factored in before you just make a broad, everybody can't do it or everybody can do it. And like,
Right.
I mean, the
Well,
saddest majority of men making these rules, about what we supposed to be doing with us.
with our bodies. She was
My
14 years
condoms
old.
don't exist.
Right. She was 14 years old. So we jump into considering abortion. Know your options.
Your options depend on your community. Your options depend on who you're surrounded by. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even necessarily a legal thing, because depending on what family you belong to, those are your options. So that's even a hard one in and of itself, depending on your age, access to resources. What are your options for this 14-year-old girl she clearly didn't have many other options.
Right.
Outside of hiding it, giving birth, and then just handing it away, not wanting to do harm to the child, but knowing she ain't had no business having no baby.
So ADHD Hour podcast says abortion is a diversion topic. He says they bring it up every time they don't want to talk about something in politics.
Mm-hmm. That part. Mm-hmm. They know it's something that'll get everybody riled up enough to stop paying attention to investigations into capital insurrections and prior administrations and people attached to pedophiles and all kind of things that we were supposed to be talking about.
Ooh. Ooh,
I'm just
that tea just
that
burnt
part.
my lips.
I mean, I'm just gonna call it what it is. That was the news cycle before we started to get back to attacking women's rights again for the 8,000th time.
He says
And which
because
party is this?
right.
Yeah.
He says because they know how strongly people feel about it. And he said, bingo. For what
Yeah.
you just said. Ooh.
It's
That
a
tea
big
was hot,
enough
y'all. That burned my lips.
it's a big enough hot button topic that everybody gonna turn around and be ready to. What you say? I'm for it. I'm against it. I'm for it. I'm against it. I'm for it. I'm against it. Meanwhile, folks is shredding evidence, hiding things, negotiating things under the table. Folks is doing a whole lot of stuff over there while we anti, pro, con. That part.
I'm going to just sit back. Y'all know I am never speechless, but woo, boy.
I mean, either we gonna talk about it or we're not gonna talk about it. Because
There you go.
the sad part is it's a conversation that never should have been a conversation. Okay, the only conversation that should have been is people should not be allowed to do home abortions. Shouldn't be no illegal back door in the alleyway, in nobody's basement, in nobody's apartment, hotel room abortions. That's the only legislation that we should have, actually.
Whew.
Now, outside of that, y'all just effing around with people, playing around with folks, messing with people's rights just to start, again, chaos, confusion, and distraction. Distraction. Like, that's the truth of it.
Hey, Big Low. Y'all go holler at my brother. Big Low Country Sports. Baby, let me tell you, y'all want some good football talk? Y'all want some great film study conversations? Go ahead over there to Big Low Country Sports. He's on YouTube. Y'all go hit him up. Run his likes up. Run him subscribe. And make sure y'all hit the notification so y'all don't miss an episode. Oh, yeah. P.S. He's a Falcons fan.
Oh.
So I can't wait, brother.
Down with the A.
I need to
Down with
tune
the
in.
A.
I need to hear how you feel about Julio. I need to, but we gonna say that for your show. But I definitely need to tiptoe on over there because we got some real football talk we got to do. ADHD Hour podcast say facts. Here say yep. Here say they go after illegal abortions. Woo! And that's why you end up. I got a video that I'm gonna play for y'all. And let me tell y'all, when I found this video, I say another way to exterminate the black race.
Of course.
I had the oh.
Think about it. They was trying to give us abortions, but we ain't asked for them. And now all of a sudden, the ones that want them, now all of a sudden, oh, you better have that baby. Y'all make up your mind. What part do you want? More black babies on welfare? Because isn't that what y'all say? Y'all just having these babies stay on welfare, collecting benefits. Y'all just want to be breeding and breeding. And then when people say, hey, we can afford these kids, we don't want to keep having these kids, y'all don't want to give us adequate birth control. Y'all don't want to give us adequate health care so that we can handle things. What you want? Don't have the babies, have the babies. What you want? What you want? What you want? What you want? And if I had a babies that I don't want to have, that I know I can't afford, are you gonna help me pay for them babies? Or you're just hoping for more designer Black babies to adopt, like we discussed last week? And maybe that's the whole thing now. Maybe now you don't want, now you just want us to breed more babies for you to have as new slaves and accessories.
Big Lo, much love to you, brother. But you know what? Let me did this one here. That's Sister Soldier 2.0. Let's get it, GA. Hey, babe, what's going on, baby? Love you. Good to see y'all. Big Lo say, let's get it, my brother. ADHD Hour says, yep. Here says, ADHD say we need to ignore that and keep focusing on them. So in other words, we need to keep our foot on their necks.
Well, we got
Big
to keep
Lo,
up with on everything.
let's
You know what
get
I mean?
it. Say,
Because
what's up,
unfortunately,
coach? He said, what in the world, boy? Y'all, but man, y'all got to go check out. Let me say this. Y'all got to go check out Big Low Country Sports. When I tell you, he needs to, somebody put that man on ESPN now. So Mr. Roberts says you can't take a baby's organs, but you can take the organs when they have age. Makes sense from that angle, but that's another topic in itself. Oh,
you see
woo!
what I'm saying? Now, who saw Get Out? Oh, who saw Get Out? Now I know they say
Jordan
art
Peele made
imitates
that movie
life.
for.
They say art imitates life. I'm just saying, it makes no sense that a certain race of people, and especially the males of that race, always want to have something to do with us reproducing when, how, and under what circumstances.
Mr. Robert, we understand, baby. Make your coins. Make your coins. So I found this video, y'all. And it was very imperative that I played this. So I want to talk about this picture for a moment because that's exactly what you just said, Miss Les. You
Mhm.
said at ADHD, you guys just said the same thing. This body is not a political battlefield. Stop the bans.
Mhm.
That come on, let me put that back up there real quick. Say what you was gonna say, sis.
It
But
just don't
stop
make no
the
sense.
belting.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. And the sad thing is, I would love to just say ignore it and just keep our foot on their necks, but no, they want us to do the twister. You see what I'm saying? They want us to have my they want my foot on my abortion rights that I just want the right to do what I want that's safe for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It ain't even like I'm all that great with abortion anyway. I feel like certain circumstances warranted, but outside of that, there's too many other things that we could do to avoid the whole situation. But it's my choice because it's my body. But if I know that they keep bringing this up as a distraction, then I got to do the splits. Okay, now my other foot over here on the red on their neck. I got a foot over
Okay.
here on the blue on their throat and a foot on the red on their neck. Because now you got me trying to limbo to protect all of my rights. And we ain't going to get into the financial and the legal traps. And this is how we become new slaves. They're all just nooses that tie us down. They got a nail in my right foot over on the neck. They got a nail in my left foot on their chest. And then they got the noose around my neck called low income poverty. And see how this keeps me down almost on all fours, except I'm a strong bee and we break chains around here. These conversations break chains. But that's what it is. It's slavery. Told
Modern
you.
day, modern
2021
day
strategy.
slavery, modern day lynching.
New slaves.
So I found this video that falls into what you just said. Brace yourself for this video. Brace yourself for it.
I'm holding on now.
In more news, an article in the Wall Street Journal last week spotlighted a topic often ignored in the nation: the alarming abortion rate for African Americans in the United States. Wall Street Journal columnist Jason Riley wrote a piece last week titled, "Let's Talk About the Black Abortion Rate." Riley explored how in New York City, thousands more black babies are aborted than born alive each year. And he highlighted how on the national level, black women terminate pregnancies at far higher rates than other women. Look at these numbers. In 2014, black women made up 13% of the U.S. female population, but 36% of all abortions were performed on black women. I spoke on this exact topic, the alarming black abortion rate, with a pro-life leader earlier this year. Pastor Cleonard Howard Childress Jr. is senior pastor of New Calvary Baptist Church and assistant to the director at LEARN, the Life Education and Resource Network. He coined the phrase that the most dangerous place for an African American is in the womb. We go now to our interview with Pastor Childress to hear why.
Well, first, it's not hyperbole. It's not a radical rant from a right-wing reverend. It is a sociological fact. 52% of all African-American pregnancies end in abortion, 1,786 a day. And since 1973, over 20 million African-Americans have been killed by abortion alone. So it is not anything to be used lightly. It is a sociological fact, and it's happening on our watch, and I'm grieved over that.
And you are bringing that truth to the urban areas, speaking with young people. Tell us about your strategy and your technique.
Well, first, with today's young people, just be honest, sincere, and tell the truth. Don't be afraid of the differences in the generations, but unquestionably, they need to know that they've been lied to. And they need to know that this is a great deception that's being played out. And unquestionably, they need to know that it's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. Institutions like Planned Parenthood are targeting African Americans, women, as well as men who are a part of the problem also. But when you have a situation where it's going to affect your children later on, it's going to affect your ability to have children, it's going to affect your psychological view, indeed, on life itself. 85% of women who have abortions have some type of psychological malady. And so there's a lot of pain in our pews, and the clergy need to step up and recognize those women are in your pews. You need to shepherd them and sound the alarm of what's happening at the rate of 1,786 a day.
And you're doing that as pastor.
Yes, it has to be.
Right. You were heavily featured in a recent PBS documentary called The Anti-Abortion Crusaders Inside the African American Abortion Battle. Let's take a look at it.
We're going to talk about the notorious Planned Parenthood. You're being told to go to Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has a plan for you, especially you young ladies. Planned Parenthood is taking it far beyond what the Ku Klux Klan ever thought they could possibly take it.
What did you make of PBS's frontline portrayal of the pro-life movement within the black community?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised at their fairness. And the key thing of that, one, is they said our data is true. Many people believe we're making up the data. And secondly, she noted that Margaret Sanger, the founding mother, so to speak, of Planned Parenthood, was a devout racist. And in this age of political correctness, if a historian who isn't even for the life movement and who is pro-choice, Ms. Greenleaf, says, indeed, Margaret Sanger is a racist, then why are we giving out the Margaret Sanger Award? Why is Planned Parenthood insisting that her bust stay in the Portrait Gallery at our Smithsonian? Those are taxpayer dollars going to support that. And in the age, once again, of political correctness and racial sensitivity, why are you upholding a devout racist as a role model for other women and other politicians?
It's shocking. And Pastor, talking about abortion is a tough issue on its own. And now we're throwing the race element into it. What advice do you have for our viewers so they can boldly speak the truth that abortion is hurting the black community?
Well, I often come from the civil rights perspective. I think we all have a common enemy, a common goal, common God. When talking with the African American community, we have to recognize that this is a segment of our community whose rights are being denied. It's the same platform Martin Luther King took. We are not holding these truths to be self-evident. That all mankind was created equal, endowed by the Creator, not mom or dad, but God, to certain inalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit. There is over 20 million African Americans and over 50 or 60 million since 1973 that were denied the right, the access to the American dream. That's a great social injustice and something that the church should be grieving over.
Pastor Cleonard Howard Childress Jr., thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me very much.
You see my face, right? You see my face. I'm clutching pearls that I don't even have on. I'm clutching pearls that I don't even have on.
Okay. So let's talk, before we talk about that video, considering abortion, your options.
Well, he just blew a lot of options out the water, just effing around and giving me the facts on Planned Parenthood. What options now? Okay, now what option do we have? Because let's see, the only option they gave us was a Planned Parenthood. And now when we find out the history of a Planned Parenthood coupled with now, you got to find out in early, you better have the money for early test timing. If you ain't got money for them digital 5 days before your period, and if your body ain't lucky enough to be one of them bodies that might want to register all of that, right. What options? I don't know what options we have anymore. Now what options do we have?
But do you know that they've closed a lot of the Planned Parenthoods though?
But they needed to, apparently. Because if all you gonna do is just say, hey girl, guess what? We can scoop that out anytime you want. Come on. If that was the goal, we don't need that. Look, what we need is health care, health insurance. We need them 40 acres, the mule, so that we can afford the babies that we wind up getting pregnant with. Because a majority of them women that had them abortions did not want them. They couldn't afford the children. Couldn't afford the children. Or they were forced. One of them two things. A majority of those women, very few out of that number, because it's not like Black women just run around here, F them babies, F them babies, F them babies. We just want to have abortions. We're not doing that. We ain't doing that. We ain't out here in the streets saying, busting it open, spreading it wide, and then just running out there to get abortions like that's the new form of birth control. We're not even about to play with that perception. The small percentage of them women said, that's just how I want to roll. Very small.
Right.
And then I'm sure it's equivalent to the number of white women that's doing that same kind of get down. But the disproportionate rates here are alarming.
And to know that it's higher amongst Black women?
That's what I'm saying, because anybody else that hears that, right-wing people say, oh, well, they just loose, they just acting like animals, they just out there doing whatever, they just don't want to even protect themselves. Well, with what resources? If Planned Parenthood is throwing condoms that bust and sending you to schedule the abortions, what other options? Where are the other options? And you still got to pay out of pocket for Planned Parenthood. It ain't free.
Oh yeah,
it ain't free.
They do it based on a sliding scale. But 80, you caught that right, on a sliding scale. They go based off your income, so it's not free. You pay based off of what you make. But okay. So ADHD Hour podcast says, how do you think they know what kind of blood type and health information on the Black women that have gone missing?
And when you hear about the number of Black people that have died via abortion, since abortion has hit these streets legally, we ain't gonna talk about before it was legal. I ain't even gonna get into that rabbit hole. But since becoming,
let's not go into a back room where she was soaking everything in whiskey and
we ain't gonna talk about, no more wire hangers. We ain't gonna talk about that today.
That they burn the tips with a, you know what?
Mm.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that rabbit hole alone.
But it still is bad because
Right.
you end up having teenagers like myself carted off into rooms being told this is what's about to happen. Hey, you ain't got no say so, and bing bang boom, don't ask me no questions neither.
You
All
have a
right, and
story.
back to school. Look, and back to school.
You have a story.
hmm when people, this whole topic for our community is a hot mess in a handbasket. I'm just going to start with that. It's a hot mess in a handbasket when it comes to our community. There's so many reasons why we bully each other into having abortions. The way that we view ourselves, the way we esteem ourselves, and what we are worth to the world, to what we are worth to our community, what we're worth to the white community. Depending on those values, determine whether or not you're shoveled into rooms to handle things. Okay. And that's
With
just
the
the
value
reality of
that
it,
connected to your uterus. You know what?
which may or may not cause you to be having issues later on in life. And truth be told, by the time I wound up having my children or getting pregnant for the first time, I just didn't think I was able to have kids
Right.
because I had been forced into a situation. And ain't no other situations had occurred. Not that I was out there loosey goosey in these streets, shooting up the club. We wasn't doing that all the time, but still, from the age that I was sent into things, by the time I became pregnant, some years had went by, which is part of the reason why I wasn't as careful when I finally moved out of my parents' house, because I just didn't think that it was a possibility.
Right.
And then bing, bang, boom. Now I got two whole children. It's getting ready to be 16. The other one's 17. And surprise, guess what? I was
Or do you
blessed to
say
be
two
one of
whole
those.
children?
You know what I'm saying? Like, surprise. Oh, girl, we got you. Like,
So let me ask you this, sis, because when it comes down to the options, you know the resources are very limited.
for me in particular, and I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
Okay.
I grew up in a suburban town, small town. It was a mixed crowd, all different colors, and it was almost an anomaly because like we were a town, we was small but we was mighty, and if you came around us with the racist stuff, the whole town might jump you. Like it was one of them towns. It was not a, it was unique. I was a Girl Scout from kindergarten through senior year in high school. Okay, like this. Imagine in your mind, young girl wanted to go to Howard, wanted to be an entertainment attorney, wanted to study international business. Right?
You got Girl
Well,
Scout cookies.
yes. Oh, yes, and I loved it from the daisies all the way up. Yes. Make new friends, keep the old, all that, one is silver, the other gold, all that good stuff, girl. Yes, we was doing things. Okay, we was doing things. Living our best little teenage life. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to, I had a plan. From 5, I was going to be an attorney. Now, I personally wound up losing my virginity in not the best way. It was unfortunate circumstances, very much a molestation. We'll just put it like that. Somebody too damn old that should have known better, that should not have had the access that they had to me, found access to me and convinced me of a lot of confusion,
Mm.
from the age of 11 through 15. And when I finally figured out that everything that I had been told was a bunch of bull,
Mm-hmm.
I was angry. And in becoming angry, I had become a little reckless in my behavior just because I was mad that I had been lied to and convinced to give away something that I didn't understand the full value of. And then once I realized the value and that I've been duped out of it, it didn't mean nothing to me no more, actually. And then it just became something to do or a means of negotiation, depending on, if the person, said I was pretty. I grew up thinking that I was ugly. Used to cry in the mirror all the time. Mama used to make me sit in the mirror all the time. You pretty? No, no. This you are. No, no. It was a whole situation, like whole situation. All
Right.
because none of the boys my age liked me, right? So now imagine this 15-year-old girl who's just figured out that the last 4 years of her nighttime grown life, but daytime little girl life, was a hot mess and just realized that never should have been at 15. So wound up in a situation where I go off to Girl Scout camp. Look, used to go every summer, learn how to horseback ride and all this stuff. Now I'm in Prince Edward Island, 20 hours away from my home, Canada, throwing up, sick. And I come home from camp. My mother takes me to the doctor because I ain't thinking nothing of it. You know, I'm look, daytime little girl. Okay. I'm like, my tummy hurts. I just got back from camp. Like, what's wrong?
Maybe you're thinking you ate something wrong, or
yes, I was just out the country. I'm thinking I got food poisoning or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's thinking nothing crazy. Like, we getting ready to start, what was it? Sophomore year of high school? What are we talking about? And then surprise, surprise, ma'am, she's not sick. She's pregnant. I was like, what? What? That's why I got a little chubby over this summer? What? And I know I didn't figure out until, I can't even tell you how many weeks because they didn't tell me any info. But I do know that it was a little bits of time because I had been at camp for quite a while. And the one night that this occurred had been a while. You know, that was early summer. This is late summer, about to start school. And so for me,
at this point, you're 3 months.
there was not a lot of options there. Close to 3 months, I'm guessing it had to be close to, if it wasn't 3 months. And so basically there was no conversation in my household. Like, it was like, found out this shocking information at the doctor's office. Just pure shock on me and my mother. My father wasn't there. And I remember the next day, if I'm not mistaken, she was just like, "You're not going to school." And I'm like, "Huh?" And the next thing you know, we're riding past picket signs, and I'm like, what, where are we going? Like, where are we going, and what's going on here?
So here comes this force.
And then I realize where we are as I start to read the signs and the people, because this was the 90s. This is the late 90s, mid to late 90s. This wasn't no cute topic, and people was real agitated. You think they fight now? They was real, like, in your face at clinics, screaming in girls' faces, acting crazy.
Oh yeah, they were actually
they were acting crazy outside of these places. So now, if you imagine a 15-year-old that just found out the shock of her life, you know, and now I'm driving past people with picket signs, screaming at my car, being taken into a building. Surprise, bitch! Like, this, what we doing today?
Hey, this is the field trip that I promised you I was gonna take you on.
With no
Hey,
discussion.
Brandon.
With no discussion. With no discussion. And I just have to ask, like, where in anybody's right mind does that seem like that's right? Because I know for me personally, that was never something that, first of all, I never wanted to be in that situation. Let's just get that right. Okay. I was thrust into it behind some bull.
And that's why
and
I say,
unfortunately,
that's
I was going to say, well, yeah. And
about.
This is why I'm a huge proponent of parents talking to their children and keeping it 1,000 with them and letting them feel comfortable to talk to you. So you know what the hell's going on with your child. You know when Ricky being mean, you know when Sally being mean, you know when, you know, Nene and them is ganging up on your baby. You know what the hell's going on. So you can intervene and you can advise your child. But if you're not talking to your child, if you're not giving your child that room to say, this is what's really going on in my little child life, there could be some adult forces in your child's life that they don't know how to tell you about. And if all you keep talking about is hell, damnation, brimfire, and all this other mess, or just don't get pregnant, or just don't this, or because I said so, that's not enough information all the time.
No, because
especially when you're young and you're impressionable and you have to talk. You have to talk.
Robin says, she says, I agree. And children are fearful. They and the children are fearful. But that goes back to, hey, Pooh, y'all, that is Christina of Women of Empowerment Inc. Y'all check her out on Monday nights on Instagram under
Yes.
Robin Paris MUA, makeup artist.
Mhm.
Tune in with her on Monday night. She is doing her mental health awareness month. Are you
Good
okay,
one.
sis? Are you okay, sis?
Hey,
So
Robin with Queen vibes.
I know it. So going back to what you just said, that makes that's like being told, don't do this, but because we're curious now. You told me not to do it, but why? Why are you
Yeah.
telling me not to do this?
And if by some chance, if I am talked into doing it, or how about this? You just tell some. This, honestly, if this is what I feel, like now I know. I always said I guess God gave me sons because I wouldn't know what the hell to say to a daughter because nobody told me to write shit. So what? Part of my French, but
Right.
if nobody told me, I don't know what I would have said. But now having fully looked back and healed and evaluated, you know what I would have said? And it was something that my mother was trying to get me to understand, but I don't think she fully understands the concept of real self-love and acceptance. So it's a little difficult, you know what I'm saying, to explain it to somebody else. But what I
Right.
would have said is, you, my dear, are precious and extraordinary. And everything about you, somebody needs to earn through respect, love, and care. And that takes time and dedication. And then you, when you are comfortable based on what they have shown and proven through their actions, when you are ready to be intimate, come to me and we can talk about it. That
Right.
would have helped me a lot. You
But
know what I'm saying?
and then too, sis, when we were coming up, these were conversations we had in school,
Yeah.
in middle school. You know, when you got to the sixth or the fifth grade, sixth grade, this was the conversation that they had in health class. You had the
And
boys
it
in
was, yes,
you had the
health
boys
was
in one
technically hell.
classroom, the girls were in another. Because at that time, you know, a lot of us hadn't started our periods yet. You know, a lot of us didn't
Mhm.
start till we got to the sixth or seventh grade. So we had those talks, and then parents, like you say, they looked at sex like it was so dirty and it was so nasty, and you better not do it without an explanation, without the reasoning behind why. So, like you say, we're like little sponges. You know,
Yes,
we're
and to
soaking in
explain,
stuff. We're
little boys
curious.
will lie to you. Little boys will tell you anything to get up in them draws. You need to come with the raw. We can't dilly dally around things because, unfortunately, for me, I was an insecure 11-year-old, and it was a handsome 17-year-old foster child of my grandmother. So now put that in perspective, okay? We always had random people coming in and out the house because both my grandmother and my great aunt, they were blessed them, God bless their souls. They were excellent foster parents to many children. And some came and were short term and some came and were more long term. And when I was around 11, this 17-year-old boy was brought into the house. And so me sleeping in the living rooms at night, he comes to the living rooms and convinces me of things. Oh, you're beautiful. I told you, I thought I was ugly. Nobody
Right.
my age talked to me. So
So
now if you
to
have
hear,
somebody that's constantly coming to you, telling you all the things you've been waiting and wanting somebody to say, and then telling you you're special, you're beautiful, you're mine, you're always going to be mine. Even when I'm married, you're going to be mine.
and you know, and
You
that's
don't know, no, you're confused. You're just like, you're 11 and this is all you've been wanting to hear. So you just want to, it sound good, I guess. And he's saying he loved me, and I guess this is how it's supposed to work. You said when a man is in love with a woman, and he said he loved me. So now this is stupid logic. But when you're 11, it sounds good, I guess.
and that's that puppy dog love. That's what we're searching
Yeah.
for. You know, because we see this on, you know, back during that time, you know, we saw this on TV, you know, the boy and the girl date, then they get married. So this is, you know, this is what, let me see, what's the word I'm looking for? This is the image that we painted for ourselves. You know,
Yeah.
when it goes back, you know, me and Big Brother Will did an episode, and it goes back to we played with Barbie dolls. You know, we had this whole little life planned out. You know, Barbie and
Hmm.
Ken get married, Barbie and Ken get the dream house, they get the Corvette,
And the
and they have.
baby and all that.
So being told that, you're like, yes, you know, this is my man, because you know he's telling you everything
And
that
I'm
you're
lucky. Look, and I'm lucky. He said I'm lucky.
right,
So, oh,
right,
guess what? She's lucky today. Look, now I'm lucky. He said I'm
right,
lucky. He's older. He told me
right.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky. She's
You are
lucky.
so right. So
Right.
Robin says, you talking good self-love and acceptance. She say, talk about it, sis. So
Yeah.
Mr. Robert says, okay. So Mr. Robert says, so that's kind of a topic I've talked about recently, which is people who have kids that become parents, however it happens. He's saying people who have kids and just have kids, he say with that comes the difference between raising children and maintaining children.
Yes, because there's a difference between having a child in your home, making sure they're fed, making sure they're clothed, but not paying no attention to their emotional needs versus catering to your child's developmental needs, both emotionally, educationally, their clothing, their like you are raising a whole human being and you have to prepare this human being for the world. But it also comes back to the topic of hurt people hurt people. And if you never learned how to deal with the world and stand in your own glory and be proud of yourself, flaws and all, how can you then teach your child to do that? How can you do it? So now you got the blind leading the blind. And unfortunately, in this case, the blind led the blind to the abortion clinic. Okay. And then the blind led the blind to almost go crazy because I did not know how to handle
You didn't understand.
literally the shock of all of that.
Right.
And going through the picket signs, which really was triggering because I did not want to be there. It was nobody even told me I was going. I never would have chosen to be there in the first place. So to then deal with that, of course, I became an angry teenager, but still focused on college. So I tried to look alive. Nobody else in the family knew. Clearly, this was an embarrassment. It was a secret. I wasn't
But
allowed to talk to nobody about it.
during that time, that's what they did. The family, black families withheld a lot of secrets. You know,
I
that was the thing.
literally just had a conversation with my
Because
grandmother a couple weeks ago where she told me over 20 years they've been wondering about me. Do you know how much that hurts? To find out your family has been wondering about you, wondering did you lose it mentally? Like what happened to the girl with all this potential, all of this future and hope and it's crazy because the time frame that she pinpointed was when I got assaulted in college. I said, Granny, I was looking alive from 11. Looking alive, hey. Holidays, Sunday dinners.
you know, those are those suitcases that I discussed and I continue to talk about. That was the norm in the black family.
Mhm.
Whatever happens in this house, it stays in this house. That was the norm. That's the way
Yeah,
we were conditioned. And even to this day, we're in the 21st century, even to this day, that still rings true. Is you don't
yeah.
tell people what goes on in this house, and then you wonder why you have so many children committing suicide. You have so many grown men that are committing suicide. You have so many women that are committing suicide because of
Hmm.
these secrets that that were programmed in our minds not to talk about.
And generational trauma, that's how it occurs because one generation goes through some bull. They are too ashamed to discuss it. They hide it. It comes out in the way they raise their kids. They're hurt from it. It festers. And then those same children coincidentally always end up in the same scenario. And if they haven't learned to be open and honest with somebody in their lives who cares, they're just going to do the same thing and keep perpetuating the same thing. I mean, it makes me wonder about my own family and the fact that I don't have my grandmother to really ask, like, am I missing any key information? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as to why certain things are the way they are, because I just don't understand.
And a
I
lot of
don't
that stuff,
understand.
and a lot of that stuff, you don't find out until a person is on their deathbed, or
Hmm.
that goes back to that movie with Issa Rae and Lakeith Stansfield. What was it called? What
The
was
one
the
where they
name?
were on the run?
No, 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 not Queen. No, not Queen and Slim. This was with Issa Rae and Lakeith Stansfield. Her mother was a photographer,
Oh,
and
I didn't see that movie, but I know the one you're talking about.
what was it? What was it called? The Letter or something like that. But her mother wrote. she didn't find out a lot of things about her mother until after her mother died, but her mother wrote a letter. So that's typically when Black people find out stuff. We find out after people are passed away, or they tell you on their deathbed. So let's go into some
Mhm.
conversation. We're gonna continue on with the conversation. So Kalila says you have to have someone that cares and constantly teaches you. So Mr. Robert says, personally, I do not yet have kids at 35. So he's 35 with no children, ladies. However, he said he's wanted them since he was 17 because I wanted to create the family I never had. With that, I have thought continually about tactics,
But
um, and techniques and how to approach different situations to attempt to raise and teach them, not just maintain and discipline them. So we
look,
have a
Mr. Crawford,
go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know what? You be proud of yourself, first of all, because having children is a very complicated endeavor, sir. And if you don't do it with the right people, then hot mess and chaos will ensue. I promise you, heartache, hot mess, and chaos. So it is best to be still, make sure you are a whole, healthy individual. Make sure that you are now yoking with somebody equally yoked. So that way you all will be on the same page raising your children. And hopefully it's somebody where even if it doesn't work out, you can co-parent and not act a damn fool.
Right. Oh, and that's a topic for next month. So,
Hmm.
fellas, y'all be on the lookout for that one. So, Miss
Yeah,
Robin says, "Oh, baby, that one's gonna be good." Cause some of you women are not gonna like what I have to say.
I'm sure they look. I'm sure.
So, Miss
Holla back,
Robin
girls.
says, "You better know it. You better know it." So, Miss Robin
Hmm.
says, "We have to teach our kids to be comfortable with their bodies, understand the needs and wants, and explaining the fullness of their bodies instead of shunning what we're born to be, sexual beings."
That part, because when young children are molested, they wind up molesting other kids or becoming very sexually active early because now they know what that feeling is. And they wasn't even supposed to know what none of that felt like until much later on in life. And just like you'll see some babies who will dig holes in their diapers to play with things, they can't help but feel good. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a certain amount of nature that's involved in these things just with regard to sex and reproduction that once you push that button, I mean, you know it's there. And I mean, that's a lot. That's hard to unpush.
So my
And you
sis
gotta explain these things.
So my sis Kalila says that's why I call my daughter my beauty queen. I teach her now so she knows better. I even play Princess Song, the most beautiful girl in the world. So when a guy tells her all of this, she will know already. So of course she's saying facts. So she's agreeing with us. So
Yeah.
Mr. Robert says secrets destroy families, in my opinion. I don't know my
Mhm.
family history as a result, and through that I have no attachment to my family name. I'm a third, but it ends with me because I'm beginning anew. The Photograph. That's what it's called.
That's
The
what it
Photograph.
was.
You got to watch that movie because and the reason I say watch the movie is because the mother had a lot of secrets, but her mother was not the best. You know what I'm saying? So it
That's
just
what I
really
said.
it's a
Hurt people, hurt
movie.
people.
Phenomenal movie. Oh, it was a great movie. Um, and Mr. Robert says, trust I would have had kids already if I wasn't looking for the appropriate parent. LOL a few times. Oops. Oops. Mr.
He was
Robert,
shooting
you
at
say that
first.
for next month.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Spray the walls up, sir. I mean, ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
Kalila says, I damn near cried the whole movie. Right. Because when I tell you, and I've discussed this on previous episodes in regards to these secrets. You know, we don't find things out about our parents until after they're gone. You know, it was a lot of things, you know, when my father passed away, some things that I learned about him after he passed away. There were things that I knew about him while he was still alive, but it was other things that I found out about my father after he passed away. You know, he didn't write a letter. It was just as I was going through paperwork, you know,
See, my thing is,
I saw things.
I would much rather have my children take my life as a cautionary tale. I always tell them, look now, okay, anything I did, you ain't allowed to do that. Okay, if any mistake that I've lived through that I can tell you from my own personal experience, traumatic, wrong road, wrong road, wrong road. If I can tell you, wrong road, please don't waste my life and yours doing it. Okay. Now you want to try some new stuff that I ain't never did. I'm going to pray for you and we're going to hope for the best. But parents, be honest with your children. Give them as much information from personal experience so they don't think that you just the no monster, just saying no to everything. No, no, no. She the fun police, the fun police. How many times do we hear this from teenagers who then run off, do reckless things because they think you're the fun police, when really what you meant to say was, this is for your own good. This is for your safety. This will traumatize you. If it goes left, this gonna happen, that gonna happen. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna like it. And it's gonna be traumatic. If you would just tell them that part instead of, I'm the mama or I'm the daddy and I just said so,
because what
you
I
wouldn't
say,
have so many teenagers in these circumstances.
but that's what we
Because
do.
again, it's the judgment and the fear. You can't rule in judgment and fear. You should be raising children in love and encouragement and empathy and understanding, not fear and domination and manipulation,
Right.
all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you care about more? What do you care about more? What the public thinks of you or your child's mental health and emotional development?
I'll take what the public thinks about you for 500, Leslie.
I know other people did too, Ashley.
Right.
But did that help me though? No. Even when I
No.
had my children, I was specifically told, ain't nobody about to know that I had no grandkids because I don't need nobody knowing I'm that old. I don't need this messing up my job. Literally. And when I
So,
finally had my children, I was 20. So I'm like, I'm not that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already handled something that was embarrassing enough to you, which we could have handled in other ways. But I was told specifically, I ain't having none of my family members all out in the world. I've heard this discussion, and it's sad because that wasn't even a conversation at the time. It's just I've heard after the fact, years later, through random family kitchen table talk, that's how people looked at abortion. I'm not going to have no random person raising none of mine, but you don't mind throwing it down the garbage.
I mean, hey, during that
That
time,
make sense to me. I don't understand.
but like I say, during that time when our parents were coming up, it was one or two things. It was one or two options. You either had
Either
an
keep
abortion,
it or get rid of it.
you either have an abortion, or the baby was given to somebody in the family, or the mother took the child in and raised the child like it was their child, not knowing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not knowing that this is your child,
Mm-hmm.
and all the while you're thinking, what a child
Sister
is
mama.
thinking,
Sister
that
mama.
you're the sister,
Grandma mama.
right?
Yeah.
When
Auntie,
really you the
sister
mother.
mama.
I mentioned that, in that movie Medea's Big Happy Family, when Bow Wow
Mm-hmm.
found out that the woman he thought all along was his sister was really his mother. His mother was raped at 12 years old by an uncle, and he was the product of the rape. So there it goes. So let's jump in. Let's talk about facts. Facts about abortions. Whew.
But girl, that video hit us with too many. Look, the facts almost flew me out. Okay, this is facts. I had to resuscitate myself. I said, now we had to pick up the poo poo and the chiva. During that video, I had to woosah my life away before I just fell completely out. Honestly, yeah. And what did they say? We made up 13% of the population and 36% of the abortions. What the what? But that's not an attack on us in our race. How, Sway?
But let me show you this picture. Read what it says. More than crime, more than accidents, more than cancer, heart disease, and AIDS, abortion has taken more Black American lives than any other cause of death since 1973.
And see, and this is the sad part that makes it frustrating because on one end, as a woman, again, I have to stress, I want to reserve the right to do what I want to do with my body because let me tell you something, God forbid I was to be down the street or going somewhere and I'm attacked and assaulted. And yes, I've already been attacked and assaulted in numerous ways by people I didn't know and people I did know. Okay. And if I were to end up pregnant out of something like that, mentally, I would not be able to handle that. I would not be able to handle that. I know myself enough to know I would not be able to handle that. And I'll be damned If I don't find out until 8 weeks later that I got the killer's baby ruined, how you gonna tell me that I now have to go through the emotion of feeling the killer's baby kick and all this other stuff, and then gotta go through the emotional, don't want to let my child go? What if I was having fertility issues? What if I, like, yo, there's too many what ifs.
What
So
if
it's
you
like
were that
one
one
hand
in, that's like saying, what if you were that one in 30 that
that
that's experiencing fertility issues? That goes back to,
and this is why I say it's like you want to argue about the right to have it, but I don't want to be forced into it. So again, make legislation that bars this backdoor BS, but then also make legislation that evens the playing field. So that way, when I do end up pregnant, I could afford to keep my baby without having an issue. And then you don't have to shove me off to no Planned Parenthood. You don't have to shovel me off to no clinics. Y'all keep trying to make this an either or, and it's an and conversation.
right.
It is an and conversation.
There are so many things, there are so many reasons in regards to why women choose abortions. You have, what if you find out, okay, you find out, okay, so you find out you're pregnant, you're 8 weeks, because I believe they do, if I'm not mistaken, if they haven't changed it, I know they do what, up to second trimester abortions.
I think so.
So,
And then you have to have some kind of medical something. I mean, and
so,
honestly,
and
look
that's why
now,
I
if
say,
you ain't figured it out by the time you look now,
but sometimes you don't know. You have some
and
women
that's a
that,
rarity.
and that's why I say you have some, because these tests these genetic tests, and a lot of them, you have to think, sis, insurance doesn't cover it.
But that's what I'm
So
saying.
you're not gonna know a lot of these issues that come along with your
This
baby until after the baby is born, and then
this is
you
why
have to
I
say,
say you got to even the playing field with resources, resources, resources. How about this part? If we had universal health care and everybody had access to the same health care, then everybody could adequately find out about their babies, make their own decisions and early decisions, because they all would have access to information to make the best decision for themselves, their physical health, and their mental health. But do they want to make sure that we all have an even playing field? Hell to the no, to the no, no, no. No, they don't want us, you and me, and everybody that looks like us. We're not supposed to have those kind of options. We're supposed to stay poor so that they can keep telling us when to create lives for their new slavery and when to cut lives, because it's costing too many. We got a lot of people on this earth. You know what I'm saying? And, in the name of looking to get to Mars, we got to make sure we watch our resources. And we can't do like China do and just tell people you can't have so many kids. So, these are our countermeasures. We covering both ends of things.
but like I
That,
like
that's,
I was
that's how
saying,
I look at them.
but
Who is
like
it?
I
Who's
was,
it? The Rothschilds? Ain't they the ones that be running both sides of wars? Both sides of the abortion topic. Hold both ends, make money on it. Either way.
but like I was saying, when it comes in regards to abortions, some people are left with no choice. Like I
Yeah.
say, what if you find out, hey, you have the possibility your baby could be born with a genetic disorder?
You should
You
have
know,
that right.
a lot comes down, and I get exactly what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you is, when it comes down to the facts, not all women want to have abortions.
No. Not
You
all of
know,
them want. I know I never wanted any of that. That been there, got that t-shirt, never wanted that. I didn't go in the gift shop. Somebody went in that bitch and came out with it and threw it on me. And not once but twice. Just to be clear. And
and
it's
how
something
old
that it weighs on my chest. I was 15 and then I was, I believe, 24. And it's sad because that one, because I was grown, I think I can't even allow myself to really gather all the details because I was just so beside myself that I was even in that position. Because at that point in time, I was, if I wasn't married, I was married or about to be married, somewhere around there. Either way, I had been with this man for several years, okay, from 19. This was around at least 24 or so. Already had 2 children with this man. Why on God's green earth would I be having an abortion? It came down to finances. And because of our family circumstances, and I won't get into too many details because I don't want to tell other people's business, but everybody but me pretty much decided that, you know, it was better for them if we didn't have this baby.
I mean, and like I say, that's that force or choice
Yeah.
situation.
And if you don't have the funds yourself, like at 24, I was already killing myself due to my own family dynamics, you know. So for me to then basically a threat was put out. You had this baby, the help that you getting, we ain't helping no more with your kids. And knowing that I couldn't afford to even exist without the help I was already getting, what other option did I have?
I mean,
And
you know,
it's sad because the first time I gave myself some grace because I was underage and I really there was no option there unless I wanted to be homeless, you know what I'm saying, or run away. And that was dangerous, and I wasn't a risk taker like that. You know what I'm saying? So I gave myself some grace for being a minor, but as a grown woman with 2 children, I very much feel the weight of that now, having looked back, because I did have other choices. They would have been hard roads. They would have been incredibly hard roads. But I'm hurt with myself that I let other people make me feel like I didn't have an option. And that if they really did love me, they wouldn't have put me in that position. None of them. You know, I should have recognized that back then, or at least if they loved me the way that I needed to be loved, they wouldn't have put me in that position. But we can't change that now. And so now that's 2 things that I wear on my soul that I know that I'm going to have to talk to the Father about, and we're going to have a sit down, and he knows my heart and he knows what, but it weighs on me. It will never go away. It will never go away. And I'll always have to wonder, did I have that daughter that I've always wanted? And did I just throw her away? I'll never know. And it's sad because now I have fertility issues. Now I have medical issues. And now there's very little hope of having a peaceful, happy experience raising children. So my legacy in that respect has been a lot of up and down and sadness and heartache. And they are all because choices were taken from me, or I allowed myself to make myself feel like, I allowed myself to be made to feel like I didn't have options. But again, if we go back to this 40 acres and a mule, even in the playing field, making sure everybody has the same access to resources, making sure all of us, if I had my own way of being able to be self-sufficient, especially that was backed by the government and support, instead of support in going to Planned Parenthood and that being the only support, things might have been different. But when you don't have the resources on your own, what are your options? Where are they?
so I mean, it would be safe to say, although you may feel like that was not a good decision, it may have been the best for you. Because you
Some
said,
could say that. You know what I'm saying? You know, for me personally, I would have chosen in both instances, if I could not have kept my child, especially the first time around, because of my age, I would have chosen some form of an open adoption so that I can get my life together and then be involved with my child one way or the other. That's what I would have done. That would have been, to me, the responsible thing to do, to still bring the life into the world, because that's what God intended. Obviously, that's the scenario that came about. And so I always would like to assume that, you know, to a certain extent, especially if it's a willing encounter between parties, if life's created because people weren't cautious, then life was created. However, there are a lot of people that aren't able to have children, that are blessed with the resources and the heart and the love and everything that child would ever want and deserve. I would have preferred to have been given that option. And that other people's feelings about adoption didn't trump my personal feelings and my mental health and my ability to look
but
at
if that's
myself
what
in the face.
but if that's what you wanted, why did you allow others to influence you?
Well, that goes back to living for other people instead of living for yourself. You know, when everybody presses you about what you need to do so that they can look like this, so that they can appear like this, so they can feel like this, and all you want to do is be a people pleaser and make people proud. I was told not to be a baby mama, not to be an ex-wife, not to be a lot of things. So once I found myself pregnant, then that's what we are. We're just going, this is what it is. Now we with the man. We with the man. So even if things aren't going that great, we with the man, because we're not supposed to be an ex-wife. We're not supposed to be a baby mama. We with the man. So now if the parents and the man and everybody else involved are saying, girl, we ain't beat, and I know I can't afford to live on my own and raise 3 kids, and we already had a stepchild in the house too. So I'm just going to say, if everybody go through a stressful pregnancy, dealing with working, paying for most of the things, and then fussing with everybody, that's not healthy at all. And my grandmother had just passed after my second son was born. So I had literally had nobody to even attempt to ask what to do outside of everybody that was, Team Planned Parenthood to save themselves, whatever they thought it was going to cost them, and that's why I say I'm going to have to own that, because I did have other choices. And if I'd have been braver and not so afraid of what everybody else thought, and if I cared more about myself and my own peace of mind and my own ability to look myself in the face, I could have saved myself a lot. Because a lot of heartache followed that. A lot of depression. A lot followed those 2 events. And it didn't need to be that way. It didn't, because at the end of the day, I was a young mother and all I needed was time to be able to go to school, finish my degree, and focus. And I could have been very successful. I could have taken care of all 3 of my children and not had a problem if I had the proper support. Instead of, being bullied into what's convenient for everybody else. And that's the reality of it. So it's important to have these conversations and to teach little girls their worth and to hammer it down, and not in just to love yourself, but love yourself and protect yourself, and explain the ways you need to protect yourself emotionally, physically, all of it. The concept of loving yourself entirely must be really hammered into children, not just little girls, but children. Because when bad things happen to children, it changes their whole skew of the world, and it influences all of their decisions. And unless you're blessed to have self-awareness at some point, or you're one of those people that is going to go to therapy to work yourself through all of your past trauma, now you're just another angry Black person in the world to then breed more angry Black people. And that's why these conversations are necessary.
So now it comes down to pro-life or pro-choice. Me personally, I'm for whatever the woman decides is her body.
It shouldn't be a choice. This shouldn't be a discussion.
I'm not going to tell a woman what to do, because only you know what's best. I think it's unfair for a person to bring a baby into this world and you can't take care of the baby.
That part. And unless you people are yelling and picketing and signing all these legislations, unless y'all are going to volunteer to raise these children and raise them well, adequately, you're not doing that part. So why are you interfering?
Okay, and I'm not talking about the financial part. I mean, the emotional part, the mental part, the spiritual part. All that plays a part in raising a child, not just financial, because anybody can have a baby and spend money and take care of a baby, but are you fulfilling the child's needs, not just the financial need of a child?
So that's my point. is that all these people complaining, they're not trying to do none of it. They ain't trying to do the financial, they ain't trying to do the emotional, they ain't trying to have no orphanages, they're not talking about solutions. They're just arguing about other people's rights. But what are you going to do when you take that right away? What's going to be left to these people? What's the other option? What's the alternative? Just more hurt people, emotionally, damaged people. That's what we want.
I mean, we absolutely need more resources, more access to healthcare. We need better education in regards to sex. And that not only just starts at home, but I think they need to put it back in the schools, because at one point, like I say, when I was in junior high, that was what we talked about in health class. We talked about sex. We talked about, the changes that a woman's body goes through. We talked about pubic hair and underarm hair and periods and stuff. We talked about all of that.
They
But
show the
parents
pictures
no
of the
longer,
herpes and all of that, scaring folks. But it depends on where you go to school, what school district. We don't standardize nothing in this country. Sex ed in Jersey is different than sex ed in Texas. It's different than sex ed in California. You wonder why we so confused, why everybody's doing something different.
and like I say, if parents backed more of a support system in regards to us having these conversations, it may cut down on a lot of teen pregnancy. It may cut down on these illegal abortions. I mean, you have people, these underage girls that are getting pregnant, that have friends that are 18 years old that are able to get these abortion pills, or they buying them off the black market. And these kids, they're dying. I mean, it's a lot. So, I mean, my thing is, when it comes to pro-life or pro-choice, I feel like a woman, you make your own decision. That's your body, because at the end of the day, whatever decision you make, you got to stand before God and you got the answer for that. So I'm not going to tell a woman what to do and what not to do with her body. I mean, I've had an abortion. I did it because I didn't want another baby. I didn't want no more children. And it was a viable pregnancy. And my tubes are tied. I didn't want any more children.
And now you done did everything you could do. I know a woman that tied the tubes and burnt the tubes, and she still kept on popping them out. What you supposed to do?
I mean,
What you supposed to do?
my tubes are cut, tied, and burned. I was pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant, nope. Number one, because I couldn't financially support another child. Number two, the daddy was doing his thing. He's still doing his thing. Nope. And I was not gonna raise another baby by myself.
If you know it's not a good scenario, this is, again, it's a personal choice. That's why we should only be discussing prohibiting illegal abortions. You see what I'm saying? Or requiring medical necessity past a certain amount of time. That, to me, I could understand somebody saying, all right, look, now you trying to be down here 7-8 months, sis, I'm gonna need you to have a real reason why we even attempting to do these things. I could understand that kind of a thing, because now we're in unnecessary zones, you know what I'm saying, that really should be reserved for select specific circumstances. But outside of that, it should be the woman's choice. You know what I'm saying?
It should be more options too.
Yes. Why Plan B $50? Look, why Plan B $50? Why the generic $39.99?
But not just that. I think adoption should be discussed more.
Yes.
The first thing that people say when they get pregnant and they don't want the baby is abortion, abortion, abortion. Why not adoption? I think the resources need to be available for either option. And that goes back to considering abortion. Know your options. Why is abortion always the first thing that people go to? Why not say, you know what? Let's adoption.
Do you know where to find out about adoption in your state? Because I can tell you, if I just got it in my mind today, you know what? I think I want to adopt me a baby. I wouldn't know where to start. It's outside of Google. You don't even hear about where. Yeah, like you don't even know where to even contact nobody about adoption, but you know where you can get some abortions very easily. Planned Parenthood to tell you.
But that's why
But
I
are they
just
telling
said
us about
it needs
adoption?
to be more resources and more options on adoption. It needs to be more information put out instead of the moment a woman finds out she's pregnant, the first thing she does, oh, well, abortion, abortion, abortion. I'm going to have an abortion. Why not give the baby for adoption? Give the baby up
Mm-hmm.
for adoption. You realize it is 60% of, I want to say it's 60 or 65% of Black women don't know the information in regards to adoption. You have so many women. You have so many women. You have men out here that would adopt a baby or two babies
Mm-hmm.
or three babies. Why can't that be an option instead of abortion
Naomi
being a go-to?
Naomi Campbell just
It's like
adopted
the
a baby
plan.
in her
Go
50s.
ahead. What you were saying?
Now I'm saying that Naomi Campbell just adopted a baby in her 50s. Like it's a new day. There are people who are career driven. They get their money in their bag right, and now they ready to have babies.
But
Why
it's
are
a
we
lot.
making babies in petri dishes when there are plenty of children that could be adopted and loved?
But it's a lot of red tape in regards to adoption. I've done
Mm-hmm.
I've done research and I looked it up. It's so many hoops you have to jump through to adopt a baby. You have to be a certain this. You can't have any underlying medical conditions. It's so many. It's so much red tape that prohibits people from adoption. So this is why I think a lot of people opt for abortion.
Well, yeah, because you don't know where this child gonna end up. You think about all of the horror stories that you hear about orphanages and certain places where kids are just left and they're never adopted, and it's a whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Like these are bigger issues because it's about how they're treating our children. And once our babies are past a certain age, are they getting adopted? Who like it's a
But it's happening now. You're seeing older kids getting adopted by their school teachers, by their counselors, by
Mhm.
coaches, and
And why is it
I
that
just salute that. I'm loving, and I'm not saying the little babies don't matter or the toddlers don't matter. I'm not saying that at all. But I love to see the bigger children that have been in
Mhm.
foster care since they were 5 or 6 years old, finally getting adopted at 11 or 12 years old
yeah,
with a family that I'm loving
piece
that.
of security.
And even if it is a white family adopting a Black 12-year-old child, my hat goes off to you. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking this child that's out of the system, that's been in the system 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years, that goes back and forth. And salute to the caseworkers that proactively stay on top of these things with
Mhm.
these children. So my hat goes off to them. A big middle finger to the ones that just throw these babies out into foster homes and you don't go back to check on them. And these are the ones that end up dead or abused. It was a family. I should have I should have loaded the video, but I'm gonna say this and we're gonna go into the aftermath. Um, these they were brothers. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 of them. It was on the Oprah Winfrey show. Cute
Mhm.
little Black boys that were adopted, and this foster family. Oh my gosh! If you could have saw the cruel punishment, starved them. Um, I think by the time they got the children out of foster care, I think the boy was like 16 years old, and he looked like he was 10 because he
Mm-mm-mm.
was so underdeveloped. Because, like you said, these foster families get these kids for these checks. They don't do right by these children.
I was
So
just about to go there.
my
How is it
thing
so
is
easy to become a foster parent? So easy to
sometimes,
have children that are traumatized. These are children that have been through. To me, it should be harder to become a foster parent than it should be to become an adoptive parent because, truthfully, most kids in foster care done come through some stuff. They need extra love, extra care, extra support, extra resources with regard to their mental health and their safety to deal with whatever reason they've been taken from their parents. Versus if I'm pregnant, baby in the womb, and you say you want a baby, I should be able to meet with you as long as your finances are right, as long as your mental health is okay. Why can't you just as easily have the discussion for adoption with my child when my child is not traumatized? But yet you could for a check end up with my child as long as I neglect my child. You can end up with my child as a foster mother, but not as an adoptive mother.
But the reason
That's wild.
the reason that it's easier to become a foster parent is because it's easier for them to move them children out off the system and move them into somebody's home. They don't care whether it's a good person or a bad person. Hey, oh, she's a foster parent. Good. She wants to take in 10 children. That's 10 children that we can move off
We ain't gotta be bothered with.
out of this foster home. We can move it into some and make room for 10. It's a revolving door. So that's that's what it all comes down to. So now we roll into the aftermath. The abortion is done. How do you move on?
Do you ever move on?
You find out
Fully.
you're pregnant. You've made the decision. You follow through with your decision. Do you ever truly move on? Do you when you finally have a baby, do you think about the baby that you got rid of, or do you just kind of push that to the back of your mind and say, hey, that's a part of my life I don't want to deal with? These are the things that fall along with these decisions, whether it's an abortion or an adoption.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it's a hard decision. It's a tough decision.
You got to live with that.
It's something right. It's something that you have to sit down and say, am I going to be strong enough once I make this decision to move on, to carry on? Because that's the aftermath of it.
And that's why it has to be your personal decision.
Right.
Because otherwise, like me, I'm left with a decision. I'm left with guilt and weight for something that I never wanted. But it was still my body. It was still me at the end of the day. Like, and the way that messes with you, to know I'm going to have to atone for something I never wanted. And then every Mother's Day to have to think about it and try not to think about it. You know what I'm saying? As I watch my children get older and I think about how old all my children would be, that weighs heavy on me. When I think about the fact that they've been wanting to take my uterus for some years and that I've had made actual decisions with my health because I hold out hope for having that experience in life where I'm raising children in a happy, healthy, functioning relationship. You see what I'm saying? Like, there were certain dreams that I had as a child that were stolen from me. Just stolen because other people wanted things. The damaged foster son, he wanted something. Stole something from me. My parents, they wanted no drama and no nonsense. Stole options from me. You know what I'm saying? Several people just kept doing things that took options from me. And I'm left holding the bag. I just praise God that he allows me to fuel my pain into a purpose. And that I pray that my testimony, just like yours, will help other people to avoid this kind of foolishness and help us get to a better solution so that we only just talking and spinning our wheels. But again, once we get solution oriented, then we can start to change the narrative. We can change the game. But until we address some of the issues within our own community that cause us to push each other to Planned Parenthood, instead of us inspiring each other to come up with more solutions. Like, hey, y'all, why don't we have some more Black adoption agencies? How about we start fighting for legislation about adoption and changing some of the rules and regulations? These are things that we can do to be proactive, to counteract the abortion rates without attacking abortion rights. That's the thing. Let's attack the right issue. Attack the rates. Let's address the disparity in the rates. But let's not attack the rights. The rights never should have been attacked in the first place. It's two separate issues. And we can advocate for that. We can advocate for more resources. We can advocate for better health care across the board. We can advocate for a lot of things that can help to save these Black lives that are lost before they took a breath. But it doesn't start with just stop abortion altogether. That ain't the answer. It's not an either or.
And in my opinion. If you go back, let me go back to that comment that ADHD hour. That goes back to that comment when he says they bring up every time they don't want to talk about something in politics. And he says it's because they know how strongly people feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep talking about it. I mean, you know, oh, I'm going too far. Sorry, Robin. But it goes where she says, yes, you have to address the issues, rates versus rights. That
Yeah,
goes back to what I just stated, or what I said, or what I posted, pro-life or pro-choice. Let it be the woman's decision. That's the
that's what I'm
way I feel
saying.
about it.
It should
Don't
have never
tell a
been a
woman.
pro-life or pro-choice. It should have never been a pro-life or pro-choice. You see what I'm saying? Because the women that chose to have abortions because they knew they weren't mentally and physically or financially ready, they chose life. They chose to sustain their own. So get it right. It was never a life or choice thing. No, in them choosing the abortion, they were choosing to sustain their own lives and the lives of whatever children they may have already had. And if bringing another life into this world is going to jeopardize the stability of everybody else's life, that woman should have the right to make that decision. Once again, they love to get us off topic when really that never should have been the argument. It never should have been a pro-life or pro-choice and all this other mess. No, no, no. We all have a right to live and love. What does the First Amendment claim? Even though I know it wasn't made for me because I wasn't even a whole person when they wrote it, but still, I'm just saying, what does it say? We supposed to have the ability to live, love, pursuit of happiness, all that, all that, all that.
But
So,
unfortunately, it is pro-life versus pro-life or pro-choice. Unfortunately, that's
mhm,
that's how it is.
they just gonna
So as
keep that argument,
yeah.
you know.
So I'm gonna end with this. It said
That
if
part.
you're a black woman in America, it's statistically safer to have an abortion than to carry a pregnancy to term or give birth. Hashtag, excuse me, scary stats. And that's the
Mm,
Planned Parenthood Black community. Y'all go follow them on Twitter. Baby, they cuts up. Let me just say that.
mm. In the name of preeclampsia and underlying conditions and inadequate health care, which is don't and we're gonna run it back to equality with regard to access to resources.
Mhm.
Because that shouldn't be a rate either. And if they gave us better health care, we would be able to bring more babies to term safely.
You're right about that. So Mr. Roberts says, if you can create size, you can create disparity. If you could create disparity, you can manipulate the narrative. Right.
Boom. I likes you, sir. You know what you're talking about right there.
So there it is.
He hit the
That's
nail
why
on the
I
head.
say, that's why I say,
Divide and conquer.
unfortunately, it's pro-life or pro-choice. That's
Look,
the way they
divide
make
and conquer.
that
And what's that
right,
over there? Look, what's that over there? Distraction.
right, right. But that, like I say, that goes right here. Pro-life or pro-choice. That's how they keep us divided.
Look, we got a little too happy with Black Lives Matter and stop Asian hate. Hold on now. We're supposed to be fighting about pro-life and
And
pro-choice.
all the while,
We ain't supposed to be talking about y'all rights as individuals and humans. Hold on.
let, let me say
Ladies,
this,
that's for y'all.
because all the while that they were passing that Stop Asian Hate law, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas was passing the 6 week ban.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So
Opportunity. The opportunity just hit.
because right. And now a lot of states have made it illegal to have abortions. So now you're going to have a lot of people traveling to other states
In the
for
middle of a
abortions,
pandemic.
and it's going to increase illegal abortions. So we're going to roll into the final thoughts for tonight. I'm gonna let you go ahead and I'm gonna let you roll your final thoughts, and then I'm gonna end the show with my final thoughts and a couple of updates for this week and next week.
I mean,
So
I'm
your final
blessed and highly
thoughts.
favored to be here with you, Miss Ashley. You know, I love you to death. And this was yet again another very, very needed conversation where we were able to be candid and discuss some serious issues that need to be addressed. You know, they're world issues, they're human issues, but especially within our melanin magic community, we need to start having these come to Jesus moments and kitchen table talk, order in the court. So that way
Let me stop
we
you real
can
quick before you
create.
continue. Let me stop you real quick before you continue. You can't come back on the show because I was not supposed to cry today. But go ahead, continue. I'm gonna mute my mic.
But look, no, but I'm serious though. We have to create the movement to give us what we need to say, look, now we tired of this damn distraction. Okay, we done heard you yell distraction and look over there about 75 times, sir. We look, where my benefits? Where my 40 acres and my mule? Where is my health care? And when we keep on getting them back on topic, back on target, back on target, and when we start to have more of our melanin magic going in writing legislation and going in lobbying, and when we start to use their tactics against them strategically, counteract some of this foolishness. See, because the thing is, these folks will never change what they do until we start doing it. Okay, because then it's like, hold on, this is for us. We're supposed to be able to do the filibuster and run our mouths forever. And then as soon as you do it, no, we don't want to do it. Like this is how politics works in the United States. And we have to outsmart the tricksters. I'm tired, me personally, I'm tired of them playing us like we're stupid. We're not stupid. We see you, we hear you, we acknowledge exactly what you're doing. And these conversations help to inspire us to be the change we want to see in the world. And that's really what it's all about. Call it what it is, and then now let's all run and be active and do something about it.
Absolutely. So my final thoughts: abortion. Unfortunately, they pitted us against each other with a pro-life, pro-choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do we like it? Some do, some don't.
We're
I
supposed to
know
like
I
to
don't
argue
like
like it.
it.
The
Right.
ones that like to argue and
The
not do
debate,
nothing
the
about it,
ones that
they
like to
love it.
debate.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't like the division because a woman should be entitled to her own rights to her own body. Whatever decision you make, you have to stand before God and answer for that on Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Being a person that has voluntarily went and done an abortion, and I hate to say it that way, but because I went and had one, I have to deal with God on that day. So who in the hell are you to judge me on what
Yeah.
I did with my body? Because at the end of the day, this is mine. This is my womb, and I can do whatever the hell I want to do with it.
Your life,
You,
your choice, your
right?
responsibilities.
You, not you, sis, but you know what I mean.
I know
You,
what you mean.
your governor, your senator, your mayor, and whoever else, you cannot tell me what to do with my womb that God gave to me. Life is about choices. It's up to you whether you make the good choice or a bad choice because you have to live with the consequences of the choices you make in life.
And that's the thing. And if you think that you only gonna have to account for the things that the public knows, think again. Because everything you do in private, the Lord saw you. He knew your intentions and he saw your heart. Okay. And if you think that you can avoid that or get away from it, all you people that think that y'all gonna go on with Elon Musk to Mars and escape the rapture, I promise you, mm, you'll be caught up in the rapture of love. And it ain't gonna be so lovely though.
And it
So
ain't the
everybody look
Anita Baker
alive,
version.
look alive, and
Mm.
everybody, act accordingly. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Make sure that you advocate for the rights of others the same way you want them to advocate for your rights. Don't trample on other people's rights, same way you don't want nobody trampling on yours. And we all will be much better. But you
Stop
keep
that.
going with the division and all this other foolishness, chaos ensues. And that's just, it is what it is. We saw with the Black Lives Matter protests and everybody losing their minds and Antifa this and all this other mess. We saw with the crazy rioters and the insurrection, crazy folks doing crazy things, all distractions so that they can keep capitalizing off of us new slaves. And I'm not here for it. So I love your guests because they're popping and they're woke and they're on point. And in the name of healing, this was just a fabulous time as usual. Like, excellence.
Absolutely. No,
Excellence.
and I appreciate you coming on tonight and being transparent.
Girl,
That's
look, I've been laid in the bed since Friday from that car accident where it almost took me out. Okay. Laid stuck in the bed since Friday. But I knew that this was a blessing. And so this was worth me getting up, coming in this living room, and talking to my girl because it's a necessary conversation. And this makes a lot of the pain that I've had to go through in my life worth it. Because I pray somebody's blessed by my honesty. And that they're a little more comfortable to reach out. And please, anybody, honestly, I am the DM queen, okay? If you want to talk and you want somebody that's just going to listen, I ain't charging people for this kind of stuff. I'm just here. I'm
and
literally a 60 lady that be in bed marketing as a momager, okay? Doing my CEO magic from the phone. She's mobily everywhere. Don't sit
and
at home
support
quiet. Yeah, don't sit at home hurt.
is always free.
Yes, we are old. Look, well, at least I know I be around. Okay. And I'm the girl you can, well, talk to me first. But I will FaceTime you. You know what I'm saying? Call me through the Instagram if you down or you going through something and you want to talk and you want options, especially if it's something that I've already shared openly. I'm sharing it because I want to be that resource for those who may need it. Because we need somebody to hear us, validate our feelings, and help us to soar our lives out. We all do. And sometimes it's good to talk to somebody that's been there, done that, and got that t-shirt, whether they went into the shop and bought it themselves or whether somebody went in and bought it for
And on that note, don't
them. Oh,
forget
my
to
phone
and,
died.
and don't forget, y'all, every Tuesday, every Thursday, don't forget, tune in with Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all know I go live 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This coming Thursday, of course, is ending. I'm going to talking about mothers. Thursday will be open forum. But I do again. I want to continue. Excuse me. Um, I do want to have mental health. I do want to continue to shed the light on mental health. I do want y'all to know that help is out there. There are resources. Again, y'all already know my DM. If you know my phone number, call me. Send me a message on Instagram. Whatever you got to do in regards, if you need that voice, if you need that ear to vent to, I'm always available. I'm always here whenever you want to talk. I don't judge. Y'all know I don't judge. Y'all know I do not. I'm very transparent. I'm very open. And this is, of course, is a safe platform for anybody that wants to come on. Don't forget, y'all, you can find Black Girl Interrupted. I am on YouTube. I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. I am on all the streaming platforms that are available. Miss Leslie says her phone died. Um, but again, I absolutely appreciate her being on the show. It's always a pleasure when she comes on with me. Again, I will see y'all Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, in open forum. We're gonna talk about anything. If you want to talk about current events, let's talk about current events. But I definitely, again, want to keep the spotlight on Black mental health. I'm sorry, mental health awareness in the Black community. So, on that note, I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to vent and to relieve a lot of issues that I have going on. But I do love you guys. Thank you for the support. The same time, 9 p.m.